So when I first started this channel, one of my very first reviews was these, the Adidas Predator 18.1. Now the thumbnail for this and my advice was a really big caption, "Don't buy the Predator 19.1. Fire! What's up guys, James here from BootWizard Boot Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Adidas Predator 19.1 and seeing if my advice still stands 4 months down the line. Are these a complete waste of money when you can buy these? Okay, look, so we're going to kick things off on a high because I really like the way these boots look. I think the Predator is one of the best looking boots on the market right now, and I actually think the 19.1 made improvements. I think that the detailing that runs through this raised texturing with the colouring looks even better, and then I think that this stupid fin on the back, as much as I dislike it, I actually think it adds something to the boot. Overall, I think this is one of the best looking boots on the market right now, possibly Adidas's best looking boot in terms of a silhouette. So I can't really complain about that at all, and I'm not going to. So we're going to talk about the upper and the touch on the ball. Now you're probably going to hear this a lot through this video. It's exactly the same as the 18.1. It is a full prime knit upper with a control skin covering, which is a polyurethane top layer to provide you with that touch and feel on the ball. These raised areas here, basically only there for looks and don't provide you with anything to benefit your touch. The upper itself is quite soft and it feels pretty nice. It's a little bit thinner than you might be expecting, nowhere near, say, Mercurial or X-Line thin, but a little thinner than you might expect from a boot that does look like this and from a control boot generally, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Does it feel like a Predator? Absolutely not. Does it feel like an 18.1? Absolutely. But something this does do well, and probably better than any other boot on the market, is provide you with that sock-like sensation. The prime knit runs all the way up the middle of the boot, provides you with this prime knit sock which stretches out here to allow you to get your foot in. But overall, that kind of seamless prime knit all the way through up into a high cut boot really does provide you with the best sock-like sensation on the market, in my opinion. So if that's what you're looking for, this could definitely be a boot that's worth considering. Okay, the sole plate and stud pattern, surprise, surprise, is the same as the 18.1. It is the control frame sole plate with an exactly identical stud pattern. The stud pattern is reasonable, it does a job, it's fine, it's nothing exceptional, but there's nothing really wrong with it either. The control frame is pretty sturdy. It does have a decent flex through the forefoot, but it does feel quite stiff. Yeah, sturdy is the right word to describe these, which is a decent thing for a Predator sole plate. So how I view a Predator, this sole plate actually matches quite well. And if you manage to pick up, say for example, the Zidane Accelerator, the Beckham Precision with this sole plate on, it fits that boot really well. The problem being that it doesn't necessarily fit this boot really well. Because as I said about the upper, this is like a thinner, more sock-like, basically modern upper, but the sole plate feels like it belongs on an older Predator. So if you did want some older Predator vibes, you're not going to get anything that you want in terms of rubber striking elements, leather or tongues, but you can have a sturdy sole plate. Okay, wait. So this is where I start to get really annoyed about these boots and about the upgrade to the 19.1. We're going to weigh the 18.1 first. The 18.1 weighs in at 219 grams in my size UK 8, okay? That's not a bad weight at all. Pretty decent for a control boot, something that's not in the speed boot category. Next up, we're going to weigh the 19.1. Comes in at 233 grams. How do you basically not change a boot at all and add that much weight to it? The only thing that they've added really is this little piece on the back, this stupid rubber heel element, and they've managed to add that much weight to the boot. Why? It's like, if anything, now when you consider the weights, there's even more reason to not buy the 19.1. This is infuriatingly stupid, if you ask me. Talking value for money, there's two ways we can look at this. The first one being that this is a €220 boot, which is about on par with what you'll pay for most top-end boots, cheaper than a lot of Nikes and much cheaper than what you'll get from buying the laceless 19 Plus model, and in my opinion this is much better than the 19 Plus model. The other way you can look at it is that this is €220 and it's almost identical to this, which is an 18.1, which is currently on sale and I have seen available for under €100, admittedly in some questionable sizes at times. So are these good value for money? As a boot, they're okay. They fit in with everything else. Compared to what it replaces, which is basically the same boot, and considering the amount of sale you can get on this, and there's no point. I stick to my original point from my previous video. These are pointless and it's a stupid amount of money to have to pay for the same boot as last year's. So don't buy them and buy these if you can.
You're welcome! Wait, what now?
So on feet, something I will give the Predator credit for is that it is a very comfortable boot. Although you won't be surprised to hear the Predator 18.1 is also a very comfortable boot. These fit well, size-wise, these are one of the boots that fit me the best actually, and I find the most accurate to sizes. I go true to size in pretty much every boot, but that doesn't mean that they don't change very slightly. These are a very accurate length for me, and I have them in my size UK 8, EU 42. As I said before, I think these are great looking boots. The comfort is actually fantastic. The fit is very good, and I will give this little rubber piece that irks me so much a little bit of credit, because it does seem to have made the feel of this external heel counter a little bit higher. So before, the Predator 18.1 could have felt a little shallow in the heel area, and maybe that would feel like there's a little less lockdown, but actually this, combined with the internal padding, actually gives you a little bit of a better feeling. So I will give props to the 19.1 where they are due. Like I said before, a fairly thin feeling boot, although not excessively so, nothing speed boot-esque, but maybe a little thinner than you might be expecting. Width-wise, these aren't something that I would say are perfectly designed for people with wide feet, but if you have a slightly wide foot, there is plenty of room through the midfoot and also in the toe box area, so you shouldn't struggle too much. If you have very wide feet, these maybe wouldn't be a boot that I would recommend for you. So overall, I'm not saying that the Predator 19.1 is a bad boot. The fit is good, the comfort is great, the touch on the ball is good, the outsole is decent, if not phenomenal, and a little odd for the boot. I do like it. I just have two problems. One being that it is objectively the same as the 18.1, maybe even worse because of the added weight, so why would you pay more for it? And also that because this is the new refresh 19.1, it means that it now feels a little bit old. it's a little bit boring, technology's moved on, there's some much more exciting boots out there that have been released since that initial 18.1, and the 19.1 now feels like it's been left behind a little bit. Overall, not a bad boot. I know so many people that love these, they just frustrate me. I get frustrated so much that I even had the perfect "this shirt matches my boots" shirt, and I didn't even wear it. Do let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the Predator 19.1. Am I being too hard on it? Remember to like this video if you do enjoy the BootWizard boot reviews, and remember to subscribe to get all of the ones coming along in the future. But that's everything from BootWizard today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.